Hi everyone, Mark here with My Engineering. Today we're going to be talking about flange preparation for inspection with FlangeVision. So anytime that you're using a blue light laser scanner, you need to make sure that the surface that you're actually measuring is the actual surface you're measuring. This may sound very simple, but it's easy to overlook when you have a little bit of a greasy film, maybe some dusty grease buildup, so you have that kind of almost a mud that's on the surface. In some cases you'll have a lot of corrosion like rust. Anything that's binding to that surface or on that surface is what's going to be measured, because when you're using a blue light laser scanner, it is bouncing a laser off of whatever it sees and bouncing it back to the scanner and measuring that. If you have something on the surface, it's going to measure how thick that is. You're not going to know what the actual surface looks like. So, very first thing that you need to do, if that surface is not clean, is clean it. Either a wire brush, maybe a buffing wheel, something like that. You need to get it down to the bare metal. Now, next thing, most surfaces are a little bit tricky to scan. If you have something that's an older flange, sometimes you'll have this rust, so it kind of has that little black look to it. It absorbs light very well. And so we're using light-based measurement tool. It's going to absorb it. It's not going to get a good return to the scanner. In perfect light conditions and in the right angles and whatnot, you'll probably get that data, but it doesn't work as well as it could. And sometimes it will give you maybe a little bit of inaccuracy in that data because it's just not reflecting very well. So we want to make sure that the surface we're reflecting off of is a good, solid, clean surface. The way we do that is we use scanning spray. And so not all times when you're using scanners you may want to use this, but when accuracy is absolutely critical, scanning spray is going to make it so much easier and so much better, give you clean data. So all you have to do is dust the surface. And you'll kind of see it doesn't leave a lot, but it leaves a little bit of a white finish on the surface. Once it settles out here and it kind of turns white, you'll see maybe a little bit more. There might be some areas you have to add a little bit more. But ultimately, it doesn't require a lot of scanning spray. You just need a little bit there to make that surface kind of a nice clean finish for those lasers to bounce off of and give you a nice clean reading. So scanning spray, super important. The next thing that we have to do is apply those reflective targets. So blue light laser scanners require at least 4 targets in the field of view at any time to register its location. And it uses that for triangulation. So the scanner knows where it is by referencing a whole bunch of targets. Some scanners do not require that, and that's fine. It's really good for certain applications. But again, we're working in the thousandths of an inch kind of range of accuracy requirements. You need to have these accurate target reference laser scans. So rather than using stickers, because no one wants to use stickers with a bunch of those all over the face and sides and whatever, it's awful, it takes time, and you have to remove them afterwards. We developed these nice little marker blocks. They're magnetic. As long as it's a carbon steel finish, you just slap them on the scan, or on the flange, on the OD, some on the ID, it doesn't really matter. Random is best, just as long as you're not sticking it on the actual surface you want to measure, so the raised face, the bolting face, or the back face. So that's where these kind of targets are nice, because you can scan them from pretty well any angle. And in the kits that we sell, where we made these, we made one that's a unique one, so it's got this nice little totem on top of it, different color. That is the one that we like to use for our 12 o'clock position. So most of these scanners do not have any kind of vertical reference built into them. It just references the targets it sees. So your first position when you scan the targets, that's probably where it's going to orient your vertical axis. So we have one unique target in the scan. It will scan a little bit of that data, and you'll see that that's your 12 o'clock position. And so you know whatever you're using as your 12 o'clock in your report is actually going to be accurate to your real world flange. So these kinds of targets I found with the Scanology K-Scan X, which is the scanner we recommend most for doing these kinds of inspections. About every 9 to 14 inches seems to be the sweet spot for having enough targets. If you're in highlight conditions, so kind of sunny, you are going to want to use a little bit more targets. It will definitely help the scanner track a little bit better. But you just have to kind of slap it around, like I said, on the ID, on the OD. And random is best. Now, I kind of touched on this, and it's worth pointing out now, if you are working in high light conditions, You are going to need more targets, but we are using a light-based measurement tool, so you are going to have to control that light. So blue light laser scanners are fantastic. They're really accurate. They are extremely quick, but they are susceptible to being washed out by sunlight because sun has full spectrum and it's very powerful, a little more powerful than the emitters sometimes in these scanners. So it will not see that little laser beam projected on the flange itself while it's trying to measure. You're just not going to get any data coming in. So it is very important to actually control the light conditions. If it's an overcast day, sometimes it's not that bad at all. If it's working on night shift or morning, evening, again, you could have no problems whatsoever. But if it's a bright sunny day, right near noon, sun's blaring down, you are going to have to control those light conditions, in which case you can just have some kind of a hoarding, maybe a tent, big sun umbrella, whatever you might have to do to control that light so there is no sun flooding the inspection area, and you'll be able to get a fairly good reading. Sometimes in sun conditions, it will actually get you some data, and that's fine, but you should be aware that when that data comes in, more often than not, it's going to be a little bit noisy. So again, we want to be accurate with this. We want to be replacing other measurement methods with an equivalent measurement tolerance. And so in order to hit that high tolerance, we do have to still control the different things that may affect that, and light is going to be one of them. So kind of reviewing here, 1, clean the surface. 2, prepare the surface with a nice scanning spray so you get a good return. 3, apply your markers or your targets. Have enough of them. You can't really do too many, but make sure they're nice and random. And 4, control the light conditions. With these 4 simple steps, you're ready to get out there and start inspecting. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe for more tips like this, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.